Hey developers, welcome back to TechScripted, where we just don't write the code, we automate its existence. So in this video today, I'll walk you through a fully enterprise grade DX first front-end setup using Next.js app router, React hook form, Zod, we'll be covering the stand also, and Plop generators. So generating forms, that was just the start. Something I showed you in my last video. But this time we are going deeper. Come experience how we generate the generators that generate the code. Okay, so in this case we have two modular UI features as our slices: a contact form with full validation and async control, and another slice what you have is a user CRUD module that lets you add new users a render list which lives in memory. And everything is powered by reusable schema, custom hooks, global state, and structured code generation system. Okay, so I'll walk you through with my project structure first, and I'll show how the architecture what I made here, which is enterprise level, and let's walk on to this. So as you can see in my screen, we are using here a vertical slice architecture in this project, and as you can see my folder structure, what the project structure is on the left hand side, I'm just increasing the width so that you will be able to see the exact. So this is my app directory. Under that I have API, and in the contact directory I have one route.ts. I will let you know why I made this, and there you can see my page.ex which is here, and in the features you can see I have a contact, and then in that I have components, hooks, schema, services. These are my four pillars for handling the contact. So I'll go one by one how and what I am doing it, and what all I am using, the tools, the enterprise level techniques, and I'll also explain how I'm using the scaffolders to scaffold the code. Okay, so what exactly this vertical slice architecture means? While explaining as per this project what I made here, every feature like contact, user, feedback which I'm going to show you, and model that I'm going to create here using the scaffold features, so is self-contained with components. As you can see the components here within the contact, as I had made as the features here. Yeah, the components contains contact form, and this one I created DevDebugPanel to show you the live debugging here in the browser itself. Okay, so this is components are for UI, and then I have the hooks, use contact form. So this is actually for business logic, and then we have schema in which I'm using, as you can see, Zod here. Okay, that is for validation purpose. So I'm using Zod validation here, and then I have services. As you can see, the contact API service. Okay, for optional API integration. Okay, so this I'll be using when I'll be connecting this via Prisma. So we'll be using ORM, Prisma ORM, and then we'll be connecting it with Postgres. Okay, so this pattern keeps your code scalable, testable, and easy to onboard. Okay, so now coming on to the stack what I'm using. The stack is purposefully lean but enterprise level. So here it includes Next.js app router for modern routing and layout, React hook form, RHF what you call, okay, with Zod, which we combine for the type safe validation, and here's the stand I'm using for global state without Redux boilerplate. Okay, so and last but not the least, I'm using the Plop. I used it for scaffolding. This time I'll be using Plop to generate the code generators. In this case I'll show you, okay, which is very fast. Yeah, and let me show you the RHF focused project tree here. So as we started from the components for the contact, here I have the contact form. Okay, yeah, so this I'll minimize, and so that you can see the code here. Okay, so what is going on here is we have a contact form which is based on RHF UI, so which uses form provider. Yeah, you can see here the form provider I'm using. Why it is just like, as you can see here, I'm using it as a wrapper here, right? below, and it's wrapping up my form also and my debug panel also. Okay, in this we are using form provider, register, error and submit. Yeah. Then coming on to my DevDebugPanel, which I created just to show in the browser how it looks like. Okay, you want to see how it looks like in the browser first before I fully come down on to the other things. Okay, no need, I'll show you later. Okay, let's first discuss the things. I'll discuss the code, how it is going on. Okay, then I have my debug panel, a DevDebugPanel, which I made show the debugging in the browser itself. Okay, here in the RHF context, it uses the use form context to debug live values. Okay, now so here I am getting these values, as you can see, and I am handling errors also here, and status also it will show what is there, and it will log if there is any errors below that. Okay, so this is my debug panel here, which you will see in the browser also. Okay, so after this, yeah, coming on to hooks now. Okay, we have user contact form, so this is my hook, as you can see. So what exactly this is doing? So in this, my RHF logic sets up user form validation and submission. Okay, as you can see in this, so this is how it works. So why I had set this debugger? So just to show you debugging, I'll show you how. So basically I will tell you one thing. I am using Zod here. Okay, so what it does, when I hit the submit button, while suppose you have a contact form, okay, so you haven't filled any fields yet, yeah, so if you click on the submit, in this case even my submit button will not trigger my own submit event here. Yeah, you can see here this on submit event, this will not trigger at all. Why? Because Zod handles the validations before the on submit itself. I'll show you exactly how it happens. And coming on to schema, here we have our contact schema. I'm coming down to my schema now. So here we are using contact schema, in which I'm using Zod again here. Yeah, so where, as you can see, Zod schema is connected via Zod resolver to RHF. Okay, coming down to our shared directory, here I have components. This is for UI. I have buttons, inputs and text area. So what input is doing is, so here input works with register plus error from the RHF. Okay, again text area here, so same, this is also kind of supporting RHF error and handling the bindings. Yeah, and coming down to my button, which shows button props here. Yeah, and here I'm using the props also. What it is doing, it often reacts to RHF's is submitting. Okay, is submitting, you know. Okay, I'll also show you these things in my console and components React tools. While using the React tools, we'll show our live debugging also. Okay, so let's coming down to our templates. So these templates, this is where actually the Plop things comes in. Okay, so here what is going on, we have the templates. I had these ones I had made it because components, hooks, schema. So this either you call component, this I named it as form only because to make it consistent. Here in the card also, this is basically the component of the form. Okay, so this generates RHF compatible form UIs, and what the hook is doing here, this one, this is my code to generate the code. So where it generates RHF hook boilerplate. Okay, so this is my hook here, which generates the code. Basically it generates the RHF hook boilerplate. Okay, and here what my schema is doing, yeah, so here schema generates Zod schema for RHF. Okay, so now you got an idea how I am generating the generators to generate the code. Yeah, okay, so what else, what I'm covering here is, now the question comes, what constitutes my RHF core? So here my RHF core consists of form provider, user form, register, and handle submit. Okay, and how we are validating data before on submit is using Zod and Zod resolver. Okay, so what I'm telling all these things is to give you a whole idea of how we architect the at professional level enterprise projects. Okay, so these are the tools which are used in these kind of projects in large scale or in any enterprise. Okay, so this is how the validation part goes, and I can also show you the live RHF debugging here, which I'll just show you now. For that I had made a live debug panel, and form context I'll be using in that. Okay, here in this case reusable input and text area, I'm using it to accept register and error as props. Okay, so let's come down to a real code in action with the contact form. Okay, watch what happens when I leave the field empty and submit. I'll show you in the browser now. Okay, let me run this project. I'm using npm here. Why? Because I would have used yarn also or some other utility also, but I feel like covering a lot of things, and I'll be scaling it with the Prisma for DB, and then much more things I'm going to show you in part 2 also. So I'm keeping npm for that so as to minimize any conflicts. Okay, now it ran. You can see I will be showing you in the browser. Now you can see my debug panel. Okay, so here how it goes. So if I submit without entering anything, just I want to show you the validations. So here you can see these errors what they're coming. And one thing I want to again show you. Okay, this is a very interesting thing you will notice here. If I show, so now I have the debugger here. You might have not noticed, those who are working in this, and those who don't know, who have not worked on these things may not be knowing that. Yeah, yeah, in my hook. Yeah, so here I had set the debugger. Okay, and here is my console.log. What will happen? It will not hit actually. Why? Because at the client side, when I use on submit event, so it will not trigger even if now. Okay, I'm refreshing the page once again. Now you will see there in the console you will not notice any debug. This debug will not hit. Okay, yeah, see, did you saw anything? If I go to source, nothing, not hit. Yeah, because before on submit event itself it is doing the validation part, right? So that's why. One more thing. Okay, this is one thing. Next thing what I want to show you is, okay, in the network, if I see contact, it is not yet there because we haven't made the call. Okay, yeah, so now let's make a call to our API using some data here. So okay, I'm submitting it. Now we'll see. Now debugger has hit here. Now you can see, right? Now the on submit event is triggered. Okay, what else? Okay, let's move down to our network tab. I'll show you here regarding my API how it is being hit. Yeah, it is showing me 200 status. That means it is working fine. It has fetched the data. Okay, as we see here, the payload. Okay, here it is showing me the post request is fine, 200 status. Okay, and here is my payload showing my data here. So this is what has gone through. Okay, so success. Yeah, you can see the success. Okay, so this is how I'm showing you the contact module working here. Okay, now this is showing success message. Okay, what else we can do? So how, okay, one more thing, if we have to see in the components here, contact, contact form, yeah, these are the React tools what I am showing you here in the hooks. Yeah, in the hooks. So this bound store, this will show you regarding that. Okay, success message. Yeah, so this is my form, and here the state you can see. Yeah, this is the entry we made. It is showing through. Okay, already we have seen the success message in the bounds. Bound store already shown you. Okay, fine. So this is how it is going on here, and this was the positive scenario what I have shown you. Okay, so what we seen in this while watching how I was debugging, so Zod validation kicks in instantly, you have seen, right, before even the on submit event, and RHF error message appears the way I shown you. And also you have seen the stand, how it flips the is submitting while the form post to a dummy API contact endpoint. Okay, as you see, I'm simulating a real form submission pipeline, and everything is reactive and observable here, right? And I had shown it in the console and network tab plus the component tab also, right? Yeah, and let's cover an active scenario also here while testing. Okay, so in my route, so this was my positive scenario where it returned a success message, right? So okay, now what we will be doing, let's play around something. Okay, I had commented this code. Now I'll be simulating a server error for demonstration purpose. Okay, yeah, so here we'll see how this works. Okay, and one more thing I'll show you. See what I've done here. In case the error, this will show something went wrong, please try again. So this is how you can implement it in a professional way, right? So see in action how I am showing it now. I'll just compile it once again. Yeah. So see, it broken, even though we are, because the API failed there, as you can see in my route.ts file. So it's showing this message, something went wrong. Let's debug this thing and we'll see how it worked. Okay, we'll again once again to get all the objects in the memory. Okay, yeah, something went wrong again, it appeared similar to this, and here is the error state. And in the console, first we'll see nothing, then we'll move on to sources. Yeah, let's directly come to our network tab. It failed. Now you can see the API failed here. It is showing with the 500 error message that it showed us our internal server error, right? It is showing me the headers first, which clearly shows it failed. Then my payload shows this is the data I used, even with the data it failed, and then we don't have anything. And if you want to see further in the components tab, you can go in here, contact. Okay, now you will see here, it failed. This cross you see, and then in the contact form, this bound stores are showing error. You see this one, this is showing the error here. Yeah, this is how you can debug also this thing. If you got any error in real time, or you want to, while working in your code, you want to add a scenario to handle in any case something happens wrong, if API fails. So this kind of validation you can implement, right? And you can do a unit testing like the one which I shown to you now. Okay, so I'll revert the changes for this thing. Yeah, now the CRUD operation I'll show you in the form itself. Once again I'll run that. So this is another scenario which I'm covering now, showcase CRUD operation. Here what is going on, I have a CRUD module which is user form and user list. Okay, so this is the user form and below is the user list, you can see. So if I enter something in the form, so with name and email, this will add a user. Okay, now you can see the added user. Okay, one more user I can add to show you. Desktop.com. Okay, so this also added. So we have got now 3 entries here. Okay, so behind the scenes how it is working now I will show you. Coming on to our CRUD module. Okay, with the in case of automation we don't scaffold by hand first of all. So let's scaffold a new module. So I'll run npx plop form. So now I'll show you how to generate the generators. Okay, yeah, I'll just increase the size. Yeah, it is asking me the form name here. So I'll enter feedback. Okay, so we need a feedback module. Yeah, you see, it created the component for me, feedback form, it created hook, it created the schema for me like the one we've seen. Okay, so here in the features you see the feedback, here it created the form, as you can see the code here now. Okay, and in the hook, this is the hook and this is my schema. Okay, and now all files are fully wired to RHF, Zustand and Zod. So now we are going full CRUD mode. Okay, I'll show you how to create a full CRUD functionality at one go. So next I want to run a full CRUD module. For that I'll be using this command, for which okay, npx CRUD and CRUD. Okay, for this how this is supported with supported by my plop file. Okay, so it's creating. Yeah, it is asking to install the following packages. Okay, yeah, well. Yeah, this error white came actually. I think something went wrong with this command. I selected npm run CRUD. Actually this is plop, this is not something to run actually. That's why it happened. So I have to use npm plop. Yeah, this is what I was telling while explaining. So this is where my plop is working. If you see, rewind this and see, this is what I said, but the command I used is run, so this doesn't make sense. Yeah. And now the meta moment, but this is where it gets really crazy. Watch this. So what I'm creating here, out of my CRUD templates, I'll be creating full CRUD functionality. Okay, see this npx plop CRUD. Yeah. Yeah. What name should I give here? Okay, user. Oh, sorry. Why it is telling? Because file already exists, because I shown you user module here. So what I can create is a product module, because user module is already there, you've seen, right? This one. Yeah. create a product module. For that we need to rerun everything. Okay, npx prop CRUD product, here it created. Yeah, we need to go to our this one features, and in the features we have to see the component. Yeah, here product. In the features I have this product, here components it created, hooks it created, and schema it created. Okay, you can see these files. Yeah, this is my hook and this is my schema. Okay, and now again one more thing, I want to create a template, right? Let's create template. npx plop template. I can create a model. Let's check. Maybe if model is already there, we'll create something else. Yeah, it created the model. Okay, now you see. So these are .hbs files, HBs. They are now the generators. Now we generated the generators here. Okay, and it will scaffold an entire feature or model components like in features. So what this will do, inside the feature it will generate a model. It will generate models as I have shown you. The component slice we are using the generator I just generated. So yes, we are generating the generators that generates the code. So here you got. Okay, so that's the next level DX automation. This is what I want to say now. So you noticed we are using only one route.ts here. So why that? So that is there in our API contact for now. That's because this form is simulating a full post submission flow, including validation, async behavior, state management via the stand. Okay, for the user CRUD module we are keeping it client side in memory to focus purely on the front end interaction and state management. So once I hook up Prisma and real backend in part 2, okay, so I will scaffold full API routes for users, login, products and more using the same scalable pattern which I have shown to you. Okay, so what's next? Prisma and Fullstack. Okay, right now our form post to mock APIs and use in-memory data, but in part 2 we'll connect Prisma ORM and a real Postgres as my database. I'll not be using SQLite or something. I'll be using directly the Postgres because already I have that in my local also. So I'll be using it, and you will see schema modeling, DB queries, persisted submissions, and full type safety from DB to front end. So now this isn't just a contact form. This is vertical slice feature architecture where you can see real DX automation with Plop, scalable, testable code design, and meta dev tooling that saves times and enforces consistency. Yeah, so yeah, make sure to subscribe the channel, like my videos, and keep watching because I'll not be showing only the small things here. I'm showing full-fledged full stack, and I have started from the beginning with the enterprise pro level code only. And if you like the setup, fork it, clone it, and do subscribe because we are going deeper into the full stack systems, and this is TypeScripted. We don't just build forms, we engineer developer workflows.